Hi, you guys.
Hello. How's it going?
Everyone.
Okay, guys.
Hope you're all having a great Wednesday and a great week.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm here with Norberto. Well, first, I'm Kim Galvan. I'm a realtor. We both work for Realty One Group Empire out here in Spring Valley Lake in Victorville, California.
Spring Valley.
Yeah, we're the Lakers out here.
Okay. So we're actually on here today to talk a little bit about the market, and to answer a couple questions that we got from our Instagram.
Yes. So a lot of you are asking how's the market right now, and it is a great market. We are transitioning into a buyer's market, which is great. We will go over the numbers of inventory wise of the IE, especially in the high desert, since we're remotely working up here, but we work all throughout California. So
correct. You want to start with the questions, and I'll pull out the information. We'll just talk about it probably.
Okay. So one of the questions I did receive was, where do you service? So I just answered it right now. So I service all throughout California.
Same. Anything within the California boundaries, we just go ahead and take care of it.
Yes. Like I mentioned earlier, our office is in the high desert, but we have, drove to LA County, Riverside County before to show home San Bernardino County, so we work everywhere. I even had a listing out in Lake Isabella, which is before Bakersfield, so we work everywhere. Another question is, how much do you charge for your services? Which is a really, really great one. A lot of people have asked this.
I've gotten that a couple of times in our open houses. As a matter of fact, if you follow me on my Instagram, Norberto States, my first video ever was kind of busting the commission myth. And when it comes down to commission, working towards the buyer, because right now we're actually focusing on buyers. You guys don't have to worry about paying us a single penny. The person that pays us is actually the seller. So all our tools, like I mentioned before, all our tools, knowledge, whatever we do for you guys is for your benefit, to help you find the best deal and the best home. Yes,
he summed it up perfectly. Buyers don't have to worry about paying us for our services. We get paid from the sale of your home, from the seller. So, which is great, because a lot of people don't know that. They right away will ask, how much do you charge? And it's like, no, unless I list your house, then that's a different story.
Correct.
So.
And then, let me see, I'm still trying to pull this out.
And then another question that we do get is, do you speak Spanish? I did get one of those in my question box, and sí, hablo español. I do speak Spanish. I am fluent in Spanish, so.
Así es.
Yes.
Para la gente que habla en español, nosotros hablamos español y pues podemos ayudarles en todo lo que tenga que ver con bienes y raíces.
Yes. Okay. Another one that I got was, why do I need a realtor? So this is a really great question, because a lot of people are like, oh, I can just go on Zillow or Redfin. Yeah. Do you want, I could?
Yeah. They think they could just go on there and then find their own home.
Right.
And then go from there. But it's a little bit more difficult, as us realtors know. There's a process between everything. Right. There's paperwork to be done. There's homes to be looked at. There's market analysis. We got to do our homework in order to be able to submit a really nice and clean offer.
And then negotiations is one of the most important. We will negotiate for you. Having a realtor, we're going to educate you. We're going to help you the entire process until we hand you the keys to your home. So it is very important to work with a realtor, in my opinion. So
correct. And then also one big question that we got both was, how's the market? Fortunately for us, we work with one of the best, Mike and Bobby.
With Chicago Title.
Yeah, with Chicago Title. And we'll go ahead and kind of show a little bit of what they, they have for us every week in order to kind of let me see if you guys can see that. I don't know, it's probably too big.
Yeah.
Too small.
So
I mean, basically these are all just numbers of how the market is. Roughly right now we're at about 1,562 homes on the market. We do know that about 80 of them were, how do you say, backed out of the market.
Yes, they were canceled.
They were canceled. They backed out.
Yeah.
But there's still a lot of sellers in the game. Like Mike and Bobby said, the word is spreading out. They're starting to see how it's starting to shift into a buyer's market.
Right.
There's a lot of price adjustments going on, and then we have a lot of buyers that should start looking because it's a good opportunity for you.
Right, and it is a buyer's market. So another question that we did have was, do I have to pay closing costs if I buy a house? And that's another big question I think a lot of people fear. And we can negotiate that. We can put it in the offer either for the seller to pay 3% of the closing cost or a certain amount, just depending on the price of the home. So that is definitely another negotiation that we can work with the seller. So
correct.
And also another one that I did get, especially when I have been posting about new constructions, is if we sell new constructions. Yes, we do. Either if you're looking at a new build or a track home that is new, we can help you with that. I do have two that right now that I'm working with that are in escrow, and it's just such a nice feeling because one of them, they're actually picking out the tile from their house, the paint, the interior paint, so we can definitely help with new construction.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Probably over the weekend, I'm actually gonna get together with one of the construction companies down here in Victorville, and I'll have a little bit more details for you guys about how they work and what they have to offer. So, and if you guys follow me, you guys are gonna be able to go ahead and see that. And then another thing was what was it? What do I need to qualify?
Right.
So basically, we got one for what do I need to qualify, and there's a couple of things that we do need to kind of screen on a new buyer, and it's like tax forms, work history, statements, pay stubs. We just got to make sure that you're like basically ready to go ahead and proceed over to the lender and get you pre-qualified. But those are 4 of the basic requirements.
Right, exactly. So if you guys are interested, you know anyone that's interested in either purchasing, I know it can be a bit scary. It is one of the biggest investments of your life, so I get it. But having a knowledgeable realtor that is on your side right next to you is definitely going to help, and it's going to go a long way. So call us because we love what we do.
Exactly.
So call us anytime.
Yeah, so I mean, we don't come on here. I mean, this is our first live, but we don't come on here to try to sell people. We actually come on here to kind of educate you guys and to help you, you know, accomplish one of your goals, basically. And also just so you guys like are involved, and we like to show you what's in the inventory out here, or if we have a listing or about the market, just to keep you guys involved what's going on right now. So that's we both try to stay very active on social media so you guys could all see what's going on. Correct. There was one more question that we had gotten. Well, there's a couple of more, but we'll have one of our guests, secret guests, come on here in a bit. But yeah, so if you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments. We'd love to answer them. Hi, Rob. And yeah, go ahead and ask us away. But if you feel better to call or text, you can reach me at 760-981-5940. I'm available every day of the week.
24 hours a day, pretty much, kind of.
Definitely. I mean, you guys know how this industry is. There's really no days off.
Right.
24/7, Monday through Sunday. It's just, you know, it's a part of the business.
Yes.
Also, like, you could reach me out at 310-213-6196, and then same. I work 24/7, and you know, I'll be here to help you guys out as well.
Yes, and then since we're both on here together, we are hosting an open house this weekend in Apple Valley, California. We will be there Saturday and Sunday. I'm sorry, Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 2. It's a beautiful house, and we'll post those details either this evening or tomorrow morning. So stay tuned for that. So if you or anyone you know are looking to buy in Apple Valley, which is a great area in the high desert, hit us up.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Another thing that I wanted to go ahead and touch on. You got anything else?
No. You guys have any what is it? Great info. Way to go. Thank you, Miguel. Rob, America, and Kim is key. Thank you, Shelly. Kim is key.
That's right. Well, I mean, I think we're kind of caught up right now. We're just waiting on
So,
our guests.
if you guys have any questions, let us know. We're going to be on the live for a while. I know you guys are probably working, but it's so hot outside right now.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
You know, there's something that I wanted to go ahead and go.
Because those are the questions that we got on our box that we wanted to go over. And we just wanted to let you know our services and
what we do here in a Realty One Group Empire. Did somebody were you able to? Oh, there it is.
Okay.
Hey, there's the man. How's it going?
How's it going? It's going very well. How are you guys?
Doing great. We're just waiting on you, man.
Hi, how are you?
Good, Kim. How are you?
Good. Thank you. Okay, so you want to go?
Hi, guys, again, and this is our special guest, ANIBAL from the Mortgage Guys.
No, from Elite Mortgage Group. So we just recently made a change.
To you. Let me see where they are.
Because some people, real quick, some people that had asked us in the inbox, they were more financing questions, so we really can't go over that since we are not licensed as a loan officer. So
we
can't answer those.
But
right, can you guys hear me okay?
You ready? Yeah, we can hear you.
You guys hear me? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we can hear you. You ready?
Yeah, of course, bro. I'm born ready.
Okay. So for the first question that we got was, what do I need to qualify?
Qualifying for a mortgage is actually very simple. You know, it's just like anything else. You know, even when you apply for a credit card, they want to make sure that you have the ability to pay these things back. So number one, of course, you need some income, and that needs to be consistent. One of the things that's important, and one of the things that we have to keep in mind, is that the bank, although they want to help people get into their properties, they also want to make sure that they can get paid back, right? So income is going to be key, making sure that you make more than enough money to be able to afford the house that you're looking at. Number two is going to be your credit, of course. They want to make sure that you have a good history of paying back people who loan you money. It could be based on the score, or it could be based on the credit lines and a few other different factors. Number three, of course, would be having enough money for the down payment and being able to source that money. So unfortunately, nowadays, cash is not king, especially when it comes to financing. If you're going to, buy a house all cash, cool, you're probably going to get the offer accepted over someone that's going to finance. But in terms of financing a property, you want to make sure that you have had the money in your account for at least 2 months. If not, you can always get a gift, depending on the type of loan. And that's basically it. It's pretty straightforward. The rest of it is just making sure that, you have an ID, you have a social security number, and simple as that. Yeah. So it's actually pretty simple. It's not too difficult. I think a lot of people overthink it, but it's like I said, it's just a few documents here and there. We review them and then we let you know what you're qualified for.
That's awesome.
Yes.
And then we got an answer down here. What is it called?
Don't forget about liabilities.
Oh, and don't forget about liability.
Yeah, your liabilities show up on the credit report, so we definitely take all your debt into consideration, and it's what's called debt to income ratios. So those are specific percentages. They have some for FHA and they have some for conventional. And of course, our job is to make sure that you're within those ranges for either loan, depending on what you're going with. Of course, VA has slightly higher debt to income ratios, but of course, we take all your liabilities into consideration too. Again, this mortgage market is very different from 2008, so it's our job to make sure that we don't give you too much loan, and even the guidelines won't even allow us to do that. So all that stuff is taken into consideration to make sure that you can afford the properties that you're looking at.
That's awesome. And then since we got you on here, a question that I'm pretty sure a lot of our followers are, Hispanic as well. Do you speak Spanish?
Yes.
Sí, hablo español.
There we go, brother. So, guys, if you guys are listening, Anibal speaks Spanish as well. He is very knowledgeable of what he does as well. And if you guys are interested in some more information, he's here. We're here, and then we could go ahead and connect you with him directly to get more information.
Yes.
Ready for the next question, brother?
Yeah, of course, shoot it over.
Okay, so the second one is, how do I know how much of a house I can afford?
Okay, so there's a few ways to do that. There's like a very basic way, which is mostly known as a pre-qualification. So that's just when you give me general information, you tell me how much you make, tell me a little bit about your debts, and I calculate that compared to your income. But really what we like to do is a full pre-approval, which I actually run the credit report so I could actually see all the debts. Some debts don't show up on your credit report. Sometimes student loans, for example, are deferred. Sometimes there's things like child support or alimony. So it's very important that we actually do a full review of your finances to make sure that when we give you a number of what you can afford, it's accurate, right? The last thing we want is for you to go out there. And a good example is a client that Norberto and I were working with, which we thought she was approved for about $400,000, but due to FHA guidelines, they didn't know that she had to add her husband's debt, even if he wasn't going to be a borrower. And, a 1750 mortgage added to her liabilities decreased her buying power significantly. So when it comes to really wanting to find out if you're really serious about, going out and shopping in this market, and you say you want to go out maybe in the next 2 weeks, definitely, we got to see the income, we got to see the debts, and we got to see the amount of money you have down. And then that's going to give us a very accurate picture. Now, if we go out and tell you, hey, you're approved for $750,000, it does not mean, obviously, that you have to buy for $750,000, but it does give you an idea and a range so you can go and shop within your means. Of course, we don't just give you what the purchasing power is, because the truth is that most people are buying based on monthly payment. So, depending on what the client's looking for, we ask them what kind of monthly payment they're looking for, and that's going to allow us to find what purchase price is going to be good for them.
Perfect. That's great.
That's awesome. And then, you ready for the third one? All right, so the third one was, how can I save money on a mortgage loan?
So the best way, go ahead.
Sorry, guessing what they're trying to figure out was, we're trying to figure this out earlier too. I'm thinking what they're trying to figure out is, coming into buying a house, what could they do to kind of save on their mortgage loan, right?
So yeah, the number one thing that they can do, especially in this market, it was a little difficult, a few months ago with people overbidding, but with sellers giving out credits, you can use that money for a variety of different things. But the one thing that I would recommend if you're looking for a long-term savings is going to be to use the seller credits to buy down the rate. Now, of course, if you don't have closing costs available and you need to use seller credits to get closing costs, then that's a different story. But if you have closing costs available, if you have, your down payment available, it's really going to be about buying down the rate. And MG Good Vibes mentioned shop your loan. You could shop your loan, but we all use very similar banks. We don't make money off the rate that we give you. That's a misconception. Really, it's our job as brokers to find you the best rate. That's why we're brokers, because we look for the banks that are not just going to get you the best rate, but are going to be able to close on time. Now, I do still recommend shopping, just so you can see who's going to give you the best service. Of course, that's also key. You want to have someone that's going to educate you on everything and that's going to give you all the information that you need. But if you're going to be incredibly rate sensitive and be thinking like, oh, this guy gave me a 5.65, this other guy gave me a 5.6, this other guy gave me a 5.559, like it's really, it's going to do more, not, I don't want to say damage, but it's going to delay your process. So really focus on the service, focus on the person that's going to get you the education, focus on the person that can close. And there's always going to be an opportunity to buy down the rate either now or refinance in the future. So
Right.
if you want to save the most amount of money, you can always just buy down the rate with closing costs.
And I've actually had a buyer that was giving, the seller was giving credit, and they were either going to use it towards closing with buying down the rate, but it helped them with buying down the rate, which is pretty cool. And then my seller right now on Hidden Valley, he was giving $7,000 towards closing costs or buying down the rate also, which was nice. So
yeah, and one thing to keep in mind is that, you know, we always say marry the property and date the rate, you know, so sometimes it doesn't make sense for you to buy down the rate because things can change, right? So even let's just say someone goes into a property at a 6.5% today, doesn't mean that they're going to have a 6.5 for 30 years. You know, we've seen rate decreases. We have people that do not buy new properties because they currently have a 2.25% rate. And, you know, Norberto, one of our clients, it was exactly that case. And so we couldn't refinance him, or it wasn't a good idea to refinance him. But it just also depends. That's why we had to ask the question. We had to ask a lot of questions when we're pre-approving someone is how long do you plan on staying in the property? You know, if they only plan on staying in the property for a few years, it might not make sense to spend all that money buying down the rate, because the savings that they really see when it comes to buying down the rate are more long-term as opposed to short-term. And if they're really trying to save short-term, then it might make more sense to, you know, pay off closing costs or have, you know, some of it for down payment or some repairs for the property so that they can go ahead and resell it when the time comes. But again, that's why it's our job to figure out what their goals are and, you know, cater to that and try to figure out how to save them the most money depending on what they're trying to do.
Correct.
awesome. So number 4 is how big a down payment should I make? So how big of a down payment should they make when purchasing a home?
So that's all going to be specific to everyone's situation. You know, some people only have a 3.5%, some people only have 3% down. And even if that's all they have, of course, recommendation would be 20% just for the sake of the better rate, but that's not going to be everyone's situation, right? So at the bare minimum, you want to have a 3.5%. Now there are down payment assistance programs out there, things like that. You're starting to hear a lot about 0% down loans. One thing to keep in mind with those is usually when you put 0% down, there's going to be, first, you're going to have a really high payment. Number 2, it's all about risk assessment. So again, the bank is looking at this like if I'm taking the majority of the risk, and I'm not the bank, again, I'm a broker, but this is how the banks think. If the banks are taking the majority of the risk, why would they also give you a low rate? They want to get paid back, right? They want to get whatever's worth for them giving you the entire amount, 100% financing. So as far as down payment, if you have 20%, maybe it's a good idea for you to put 20%. Maybe it's a good idea for you to put less than that and then buy down the rate. Some people have 25%. They want to put in the whole 25. I've had situations where I can recommend to them, hey, why don't you put 21% down, use 2% to buy down the rate, use 1% for the repairs on the house, and they end up going in that direction just because they use their money in a slightly better way. So it's just going to depend. I'm never going to push anyone to put more money down than they need to, but if they're also trying to reach a certain payment and the only thing we have left is either buying down the rate or a little bit more as down payment, I've had people willing to sell their cars because they understand that you're better off selling off your liabilities and putting your money into an asset that produces. Again, properties are going up, especially in Victorville, at about 6%. So,
Yes.
Sorry, I got distracted by the question.
Yeah.
Hold on, I want to see that though. This guy has good info here. 81% LTV on conventional gives better pricing than 80% LTV. Then you can recast after a couple months and kill the PMI. So this guy, yeah, see, so he understands. I don't know if it's a guy or a woman, but this person understands that it's not just about putting money down, right? There's a way to strategize the amount of money, and again, that's our job as lenders to ask you a bunch of questions, because we can really simplify it and say just put 20%, or if people are really interested in knowing where their money is going, then we want to make sure that we give them all the options that are available to them and let them decide what's going to be best for them.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Great
Really
question.
great information.
Yes.
And then again, the other question was, when should I apply for a mortgage pre-approval?
Well, I would say if you're really serious about buying a property, then get pre-approved. Again, it's not gonna just because you're pre-approved doesn't force you to buy a house. You can always go out to open houses and shop and do all that without any pre-approval, pre-qualification, without ever running your credit. Sure, you can do that. You can go out and do all that. But then when you find the property, again, the market's not so hot, so I'm not gonna say like, yo, like if you don't do it, you run a risk of losing the property. That was a few months ago where people would go out and do that, and then by the time they were pre-approved, that house was off the market. Now you have an opportunity to, if they want, they can go out and do that, but you want to just be in the best position. So if you find the right house, you want to be able to submit an offer. Why be the last one that comes in? Why have to fight to get your offer accepted because you're coming in at the very deadline? Now there's a pile of maybe 10 offers and you're the last one. Again, we could still get our offer accepted, because we call and we, obviously we stand behind our clients. But if you're really serious, get pre-approved so you know exactly what you're looking for, because you might be looking at 450 and you might only be approved for 425, and that's really gonna hurt your chances. And again, a lot of this comes from just pre-qualifications where someone does some quick numbers. But again, the pre-approval process allows us to really go in there. Like I mentioned, student loans is a big deal. A lot of people have them deferred so they don't have payments right now and they think, oh, this isn't going to affect me. But in fact, it does. We have to add it to your loan. And again, that can definitely change how much you're pre-approved for. So if you're serious, if you're really thinking about buying a property within the next month and a half, get pre-approved. If you don't end up finding a property, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. At least you knew what you could shop for. You could shop within your means. And it could also help you guys, of course, as realtors, help them find properties that are within their budget.
And write offers, because so many people are like, I want to put an offer on a house, and they're not even pre-qualified.
Sure.
I'm like,
right,
well,
yeah.
Pre-qualify first.
And and the process is pretty fast, so it could be in one maybe 2 days that we can get people pre-approved. We do still need to get verifications, but you never know. There can be delays. Like someone could have a situation where, like I mentioned, they have alimony or they're going through a divorce, they have child support. And sometimes getting that information can take a little bit of time. Sometimes getting verifications, the employers take a little bit of time. So they might be thinking, oh, I can get pre-approved in a couple of days, but we can run into challenges that can prevent that. And again, by the time you call the realtor, they say, hey guys, offers need to be submitted by noon today. And I mean, that just puts everyone in a rush, and it can allow a chance for there to be mistakes and errors, which we don't want, especially during escrow.
Right.
And then right now, since we brought up the pre-approval and pre-qualification for the public, can you tell us what the difference is between a pre-qualification and somebody that's pre-approved?
Sure. So pre-qualification and pre-approval. So a lot of the times these words are interchangeable depending on who you're talking to, but the way that it's meant is like the pre-qualification. The way that I understand it is just you give me some information, how much you make, gross income, you give me some of your debts, I do some calculations, and I can quickly estimate how much you can afford. But a complete pre-approval is we run the verifications, we run your credit, and a verification of employment where we don't just look at the income that's on your W-2 and taxes. We also look at the information that's on the verification of employment. Like the gentleman mentioned, or again, I'm not sure this person, IRS, we look into those things, I guess, on the taxes. We run CAPERS, which is if you mentioned that you have student loans. So we vet the entire client completely. And then we also run the application through what's called a DU, so we get a DU approval, which is pretty much Fannie Mae's. There's two versions, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, but it's their guidelines, and it reads the application and it pretty much lets you know whether this is approved, is going to be approved, or it's not going to be approved. And once you get an approval, again, a pre-approval is just that. So there's something to remember. Just because you're pre-approved doesn't mean you have been approved for a mortgage yet, right? Once we have your documents, we have to still submit them once you find a property. Now, there are such things as TBD approvals, which is where we can actually get a fully underwritten approval. And we do also do those. But again, keep in mind, pre-qualification is very simple information, very basic. Hey, you may be able to afford about this much. A complete pre-approval is saying, hey, once you're ready to make an offer on this property, we're going to be able to get you approved. And we know that because we've already verified your information. So it's just one goes a lot deeper than the other.
Awesome.
That was a good question. Yeah.
Definitely.
Good answers and good questions on here.
Well, we will have a live. We'll try to have a live at least once a week if we can,
or twice a month.
or twice a month.
You guys let us know.
You guys let us know if there's any more questions that you guys feel like you guys need answering. We could always have ANIBAL come back, just like other people that would like to come on live. We have a lot of top producers here in the office that they could also come on here and answer a couple of questions for you guys. But yeah, I mean, I think that's all we got for today.
Thank you so much. It was a quick one and spur of the moment because we did get a lot of financing too. And
I know it was a last minute thing, but we appreciate you that you came on here and answered all these questions for us as well, and as well for the public. That way, we're informing them and having them, with some knowledge. We're helping them out with some knowledge.
Because we got
Of course.
on our question box that we posted. So
yeah, we submitted it yesterday on Instagram. Sorry about the stutter. But we posted it on our Instagram yesterday, and we were just getting hit left to right with questions.
Yeah.
So
and of course, next time we could always go deeper into the programs, FHA, conventional. I mean, they're similar in some ways, but very different in other ways. There's I don't want to call them hidden fees, but there's costs that people don't really understand, like mortgage insurance, upfront mortgage insurance. And even also conventional has its own version of PMI. There's a way to pay that off up front. So there's a lot of details that go into each of these loans, including VA and including non-QM, like 12-month bank statements. So, whenever you guys want, we can jump into those loans and go a lot deeper. And that way some people are like us, maybe they're a little bit more analytical and they appreciate the information. So whatever you guys need from me, I'm always available. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thanks everyone for joining too.
Thank you guys.
We appreciate it.
And then thank you for all them awesome questions as well, and information in the comments as well.
And do you want to let people know, since you're on here, where they could find you, like your Instagram, phone number?
Sure. My name is ANIBAL. My Instagram is ANIBAL_Zavala1. I am with Elite Mortgage Group out in Pasadena. Our office has over 20 plus years experience, over 2,000 loans closed, 1,000 families helped. We do specialize in the basic FHA conventional VA, but we also do have a lot of non-QM programs to help investors, business owners specifically, not just bank statements. We have asset qualifiers, 1099. And again, we pride ourselves mostly on the service that we provide, expert guidance. I love to educate people, sometimes to a fault. Sometimes I give out a little bit too much information, which can confuse people, but I just want to make sure that people know what they're doing. And at the end of the day, if someone comes to me and says they want an FHA loan, I'm still going to provide them the options that are available to them, because that's up to them to make that decision, and it's up to me to provide options. So again, I take that approach and I put the client first. White glove experience, that whole deal. I'm available just like you guys, mostly 24/7, right? Because we all love to work, but
24/7, and I'm like, wait.
We gotta it's not just us. It's not just us. So.
If people want to connect with you guys and ask for my information, like I said, I'm available. I can hop on a Zoom with them. We can go through the entire scenario, answer all their questions. There's clients that I spend 3 hours on the phone with. We talk about everything, and then we talk about the loan. And I just want to make you feel comfortable. Buying a house should not be difficult. It should actually be fun and an educational experience, because you're not just buying a house, you're building wealth for your family. And I think that's something that people need to start understanding, because they don't understand that after a few years, you're going to have a large amount of equity. Maybe you want to send your kids to college. Why not borrow money from yourself,
Yes.
And then another thing is, I feel like, I don't know if this is how you guys feel as well, but once we help out a family, it's like, it's only the beginning. There's clients that are like, oh, well, you just want to sell me the house and then, give me the boot. Like, no. Buying the house is only the beginning of a long-term relationship. Am I right?
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. So over the course of someone's mortgage, it's 30 years, right? So let's just say rates dip to 4% and someone had a 6%. That's an opportunity to refinance for them, to lower the rate, to get a better payment. Then as they build more equity, when the market was crazy, they were building equity at 15%, 20%, right? So that's a lot of money that they can use either to remodel the property, maybe give some to their kids so they can buy a property. So there's an opportunity to help them cash out and understand how those things work, right? Because there's not just cash outs, there's HELOCs, there's like so many things that you can do with your mortgage. Now it's not always recommended, you know, to use all the equity or to use all the money, but sometimes in dire circumstances, that's all that people really have to rely on. And they have to have the education to know how to use the money that they have available so that they don't get into a bad situation, right? Even an example would also be reverse mortgages. They're a great product. Some people don't understand them well enough. But for someone who's of retirement age and they have a fixed income, which could be really limited, reverse mortgage can help. Maybe they want to get rid of the house by the time they pass. So there's all these things that people can do, and all it's really going to take is education, you know. So that's why it is long term, because I can't really educate people on cash out when they're first buying a property for the first time. I can't tell them about reverse mortgages when they're 30 years away from retirement age. So from that 30-year span, you know, it is our job to stay consistent with them. Of course, you guys we hear all their problems during escrow. You know, we're like therapists during that time, and I see their entire financial profile. So I end up knowing a lot about these people. So a lot of the times we end up being like family, and that's exactly what we want. We want people to be able to trust us with all this information and trust us. You know, at the end of the day, we are advising and we are giving financial information that is at high level. So we want to be able to give accurate information and information that's going to help that specific individual make the best decision.
Right. And after we close escrow, guys, we'll have a carne asada.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're invited to a carne asada, bro.
Yeah. I'll bring the tequila. Yeah.
Hey, that's right.
And actually, since I have them on here, one of our deals that we did do together, the beginning of the year, right? It was like January. Our clients had invited us to dinner, which was really nice because they appreciated all our work that we did. And that was a really tough but rewarding deal. You know, it was a long time, like not that long, but it had its ups and downs. But at the end, it was the best, you know, feeling. Yeah, because they got not only their dream home, but it exceeded what they were wanting and looking for. So it was really nice to be able to help them. So
yeah, and it's also like the reason that we were able to close that and help them is also because they had a lot of trust in us. You know, they can call us. I mean, how many times did we have to jump on Zooms and answer phone calls and anything though? But they felt comfortable enough, like, okay, I don't understand. Let me call ANIBAL. And I'm like, yeah, I'm right here. You know, I answered all their questions regarding the loan estimate, the closing disclosure. I don't fear any of those questions. Like, people are going to ask questions. It's a 30-day escrow process, sometimes 14. But again, it's our job to make them feel really comfortable. And if we don't build enough rapport, they're not going to trust us with everything. They're going to start questioning themselves. They're going to start asking their neighbor, their tia, which can just create a lot of confusion for them. And so we want to do our best to avoid that by being as available as we can to them.
Yeah, and then another thing is, like he mentioned, anybody that's probably working with us or even working with another lender and a different agent, ask questions.
right.
Ask questions. I've gotten people that, you know, because they're afraid to ask a question, sometimes they go through the process without even knowing the answer to what they're even signing or whatever the case is. So just ask questions. That's what we're here for. That's what ANIBAL's here for. That's what your lender's here for. We're here to answer you. And that way you know everything, you know, along the process, how it is, like, smoothly.
Remember,
That's all it is.
it's a dumb question.
No, there isn't.
Yeah,
There isn't.
so ask
No such thing. Yeah. Any question is a good question, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. So we're here for you guys.
Well, I mean, if any question is a good question, when are we going for lunch?
Well, when you make it down to the training, bro.
It looks like that's all we got for today.
Right.
It was a good live, good information. I know we caught you on the spot. It was real sudden, but
Cool.
yeah, appreciate you.
I hope you guys all enjoyed what we had to share, and we'll be doing a lot more to come. So with different guests and with you again, so we can go over some more programs and so you guys can get a whole
spectrum. Something.
Yeah.
But,
Sounds great, guys. I'll be ready.
All right,
awesome.
brother.
Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.
And
Thank you.
we'll end this live, but But if you guys have any other questions that you guys would want us to answer, or if you want ANIBAL to answer, hit us in the DM.
Right.
And
or call or text us anytime.
Anytime.
Bye,
Thanks, guys. See you soon.
Bye.
Have a good one, brother.